Hi everyone, this is Real Talk with Coach Sherri. And, I always jump on here for you to walk with me once I conquer that first hill from my house. That hill is something else, I'm here to tell you. But I was not going to walk today, and today is Monday, I believe it's April 6th, and I was really, really busy all day working, trying to figure out these new platforms so I can do webinars and training online for the employees, so that the things that I would typically do in person, I want to do it. I have to do it now online, but also it's given me an opportunity to do trainings that I wanted to do for professional development for the employees, but just really didn't have the time to craft. And now I have the time to craft them. And so that's what I was doing all day, developing the outline, the content, putting it in PowerPoint, as I am still trying to figure out which platform I want to use. I really like Zoom so far, but now over the weekend, I heard about the issues that Zoom is having. So I'm kind of second guessing Zoom a little bit, but we'll see. At any rate, you guys, I wasn't going to walk today, like I said, because I did work so hard. I was tired. I'm probably not really eating a lot, just because I know, being sedentary, I don't want to eat a lot. But then as I wrapped up the day and I was looking at the city council meeting online this evening, and as that was coming to a close, and, was just kind of putting my stuff in order for tomorrow, I said, let me see how many steps I walked today, even though I didn't leave the house. And you guys, oh my goodness, I only walked 260 steps, not 2,000, 260 steps. That is nothing. Oh my goodness. So I said, forget that. I have to go outside. So yeah, it's like 6 something in the evening, and it is 81 degrees here in the Carolinas. It is a beautiful evening. I'm actually really glad to be out. Gives me a chance to clear my mind and, just kind of reflect on the things that I accomplished today and the things yet to come. So I'm glad I really pushed myself to come and walk. You guys, I haven't left my neighborhood since early last week, I want to say. My husband's been going out like every other day to get little things, but personally, I have not left my neighborhood, and I feel good about that. I know I'm walking in my neighborhood, but I haven't left the neighborhood. So, I feel good about that. I know I was looking at the reports for the coronavirus here in my county, and as of Friday evening, the positive cases were a little over 400. And today, which is Monday, it's over 600. And the average age is between 20 and 59. So I'm in that age group. My son's in that age group. And my husband is in that age group. My center child, she'll be in that age group in June. But that's definitely something to consider. I think there was only like a handful of cases that were under the age of 20. So that's very interesting to me. And, just really makes you realize how careful we all have to be. So What I wanted to talk about with you today is, what have you noticed since we've been in this predicament as a nation, as a world? What have you noticed? And after you've noticed all of that, what do you wonder? What do you wonder? I want you to really reflect on that. What have you noticed? And what do you wonder? I'm asking those questions because no longer can we not have an opinion. No longer can conversations go on around us about issues that affect all of us, and you not have a voice. No longer can your eyes be closed to the facts of what's going on. No longer can you not realize that we're all in this together. So, what have you noticed? And it could be the least of things, you know? It could be the fact that, oh, I like the wood on their house. It could be the fact that when you go to the store, you can only purchase a certain number of specific items, like 2 cans of vegetables or one pack of toilet paper. You know, that's never been. It's always been abundance. However much you wanted or needed, and as long as you could buy it and pay for it, you can get it. So, are you noticing that? Are you noticing that gas is cheaper now than it's been since the late 80s? You know, I know the beginning of last week, I think that was the last time I went out. I said, let me get some gas. I wasn't on empty, but I was kind of close to it. And I stood there and was just amazed at how the gas kept going, but it didn't look like the dollar sign was going up. And where it typically, for me, filling my car up is about $45, it was only $22 on that day. So, and to top that off, I don't have to fill my car up every week. Maybe once a month at this rate, once every 2 months. So if I typically paid $45 every week to fill my car up, and I'm not doing that anymore, which is about $200 a month. That's a $200 savings every month. So that's what I'm noticing. I'm noticing that more and more of my neighbors are out walking, and I've never seen half of them before, because when I would walk, it would be late in the evening when everyone else probably already walked, or these same neighbors probably used to go to the gym and can no longer go to the gym, so they're out. And so I'm noticing that more and more people want to remain physically active. The last time I met this many neighbors was when my kids were younger. You know how easy it is when your kids are young to meet new people, because they have kids, or even before we had kids, we had a dog, and when we would take him out, we would always meet other people in the neighborhood with dogs. So that that hasn't happened in a long time for me, because my kids are older and we don't have a dog like that. So I don't meet people like that as much. I have my hair tied up because it was just too much to have to do every day. Anyway, what have you noticed? Leave a comment down below and tell me, since the coronavirus has come upon us, what have you noticed? Whew. See my shadow? What have you noticed? I told my son, I love this view. I love it. I told my son yesterday, I said, I need you to start journaling about your thoughts of what's going on right now, because I have on long pants, I don't know if you can see it, because 100 years from now, people are going to be wondering, what were the people doing during the 2020 pandemic? What were their thoughts? What were their feelings? What were their concerns? What did college students do? What did people do who lost their jobs or couldn't work because they couldn't come out? He's experiencing all of that. He's a college student. He now has to take all of his classes online. He used to work for the Hornets at the Spectrum Center. And because of social distancing, the NBA's not having any games. There are no more concerts. So he's lost that revenue. And, he and his roommates are graduating. So that's a lot for them to have to consider. And my son is an avid writer and reader. Most readers are writers too, but he has a blog. And so I told him each day, you should write something about your thoughts and feelings on what's going on, because people will be looking for that information years to come. People are always curious about, what were people doing? What were they thinking? How did it affect them? What changes did they have to make? Why did they have to make those changes? Did those changes work? Because here lately on YouTube, I don't know if you guys have noticed it as well, but on YouTube, I see interviews that took place like 10 and 15 years ago of people that survived the 1918 pandemic. And so, they were older. I doubt if any of them are living right now, but who knows, they might be. But they were young. And so they were able to share what they saw, how it affected their family, just different things like that. And I was really interested in hearing about how they got through it. And, because they were so much older, I'm sure they didn't remember a lot of what they experienced. So I was just wondering how it would have been if somebody could have captured their thoughts and feelings. And I'm sure there's a book or something out, but if someone could have captured their thoughts and feelings closer to when the pandemic actually happened. So if you know of a book that was written about the 1918 pandemic, please leave it in the comments below, because I would definitely be interested in reading more about that. Also, when you are noticing the different things, the changes, the way people are living, the way we have to move, we have these virtual parties on Instagram. I don't know if any of you attended or participated in any of the virtual parties on Instagram, but they are the joint. DJ, I think his name is D Nice. He has one. Frank Brown, DJ Brownsville, he has one that I've gone to, and I've had a ball. Frank Brown, he's from my hometown in Teaneck, New Jersey, and he's from Brooklyn too, so he moved to Teaneck as a teenager. And we ended up going to the same college as well. And he used to do a lot, not all, but a lot of the parties that we had in college. And he was really, really good. So he had an old school party the other night, Thursday night, and it was so live. And he played the real albums. He didn't have the disc. He was like DJing like back in the day, playing all the songs that we used to just jam to. I had to take some muscle relaxer after that. It was a lot of fun though. And, people shouting each other out. He shouted people out. It was just a really good time. So, yeah. So, the way people might even have to interact. I know some women have, and men have meetups and virtual cocktail parties where you're on Zoom and, oh, that looks nice. You're on Zoom and everyone just meets up on Zoom with their wine or mixed beverage and, just get it done like that. My line sisters and I had a meetup similar to that the other night on Zoom, and just so that we could see each other, be connected, and it was really good. This is a little hill. Walking and talking is actually good for your cardio. I think it helps increase your metabolism, or you actually are burning more with it. I like the crown molding around the window, the foyer window of that house. It's really thick. So, as you're noticing things, what are you wondering about? What do you wonder? Do you wonder how we're going to function after this is over? Do you wonder if education will be the same? Do you wonder if more people will still work from home, which would decrease the commute and rush hour traffic? What are some of the things that you wonder? Do you wonder if gas is really going to stay as low as it is? And even lower, I hear, it's going to go. Do you wonder if we're going to be able to keep it that low? Do you wonder if people are going to be willing to give up social distancing even after they say we can? Do you wonder how long this pandemic is going to last? What are some of your wonders? I mean, this is changing how we interact with each other, not just on a professional level and not just within our families, but socially. When you think about weddings, I had 400 people at my wedding, and there was no way everyone was going to do any social distancing. Funerals. I've had 2 close relatives to pass within the past 2 weeks, and I couldn't go to the funeral. I didn't hear the report, but they had interviewed some funeral home directors because they were starting to talk about how the pandemic, how it's affecting their business. Now, you would think with all the people that are dying, that they would still be in business probably more than anyone. But I'm sure the quality of the service that they used to charge for has decreased. People aren't going for all of the bells and whistles because there's not going to be anyone there. But then you have to think about it moving forward. I wonder who's that show for? When you have the most elaborate casket and, all the bells and whistles and everything. I mean, I know we're celebrating that person's life, but does it have to be on that scale? Because I know for my mother's funeral, the best thing that I loved was hearing the people talk about their experience with her, hearing their stories, how she touched their lives. And that to me was more important than any type of, grand poobah, grand finale, whatever situation. So I wonder how this is going to change for us, what's really important, and how long will we sustain that, Sometimes in the beginning of something that changes, everyone's on board and it's all good. But then after a while, people go back to their old habits. So I just wonder, what do you wonder? What do you wonder? I'm definitely utilizing these vlogs here on YouTube that I'm doing as part of my experience with the coronavirus. As I walk and talk and just discuss what I'm doing on a day-to-day and whatnot, I'm hopeful that in the future, the far, far future, people can look at the date and realize that, wow, she filmed those videos during the pandemic, even though everyone couldn't go outside, because I was talking with my niece who lives in Brooklyn, her and her husband, and her mother and father live in upstate New York, even though her mother works in Manhattan. And of course, in upstate New York, it's much more space and everyone's not jammed up against each other. They actually moved from Brooklyn to upstate New York. And so my niece and her husband, she's actually my cousin, but she's more like a niece to me. They live in Brooklyn. And we have a group text, and her mother and I talk about, or show pictures of us being outside, or I'll share pictures or videos with them regarding my walks. And my niece is like low-key bugging out because where she's at is so close. They literally can't go out without anything because they're right there on top of everyone. And, it's just amazing how, depending on what part of the country you live in, how dense it is. It determines how you can show up when you go outside. I wonder if there's a trail down there that I can walk. That's for the golf carts. But I definitely won't be walking down there by myself. I can tell you that much. Not after the other day in that situation. But her mother and I had to convince her we good. We're not up on each other like that where we live. We can go outside. Her mother and her dad, they show pictures of themselves at the lake on the Hudson River and, in the woods and just enjoying life. But that's just the day and the time that we're in. It's almost like the haves and the have-nots. Even though her life in Brooklyn is amazing, but because they're so far on each other, I'm going up a hill, you guys. She can't enjoy the outdoors like that. Whew. So I was also listening to another YouTuber friend yesterday. She lives in, where does she live? Milwaukee? I want to say Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And she was saying how you know, living in an apartment building, there's a lot of common areas that people live and share, and it's almost unavoidable. I mean, even down to going to the mailroom or on the elevator or the stairwell. That's one thing that I'm grateful for my son's apartment, that it's outdoors. Like when he opens his door, he's outside. There's an overpass where the stairs are for people to go up, but it's all open. It's not all enclosed in a building in that way. So that's one thing. But my husband's been dropping off food and necessities to him so he doesn't have to go out. And he's really healthy, so I know he does go out to like the field to work out. And I want to say, I mean, he's used to being out. A lot of people are used to coming and going. So this is definitely working on developing people's patience. And, you know, it's a lot to be used to coming and going and ripping and running. I mean, we all need to slow down. So it is a blessing in that way too, but still. At any rate, you guys, I know I've walked over 30 minutes because I listened to some music. Oh, look at that bird. I listened to some music prior to coming on here with you guys, and I'm still just walking, but now I just want to enjoy the rest of the scenery. So until we speak again, I want you all to remain safe. If you received a nugget from this video,